All right, Shalom. Before I get started with this lesson, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. I want to give double honors to my elder apostles, to my elder bishops, and to my elder teachers of great millstone that rule well, which taught me this truth, who are the true leaders of Israel today. And also peace, love, blessings, and salutations unto the elect. All right, Shalom, Shalom to the few sisters, the Aquaf that listen and follow this truth in all sincerity. Shalom to you sisters, you Aquaf. And also Shalom to the Israelite foreigners who believe in this truth, who may not have the typical physical appearance or aesthetic of a Hebrew Israelite, which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and so-called Hispanics. But you believe in this truth, right? Spiritually, your seed line, because that's what it's about, according to Numbers 1 and 18, goes back to being a Hebrew Israelite. Don't matter how you look. According to Deuteronomy 28 and 64, we were scattered amongst the other nations, and also other precepts as well that proves that we were scattered amongst the other nations, man. Right? But if you believe in this truth, no matter how you look, you're a Hebrew Israelite, man. All right, Shalom, Shalom. And, I want to get right into it. Major things are taking place. Biblical prophecy is unfolding right before our very eyes. And, all of us true, sincere believers are very excited, extremely excited, because we understand that the Lord is holding true to what he said he was going to do, man, via the prophecies, man. And this is why we say prophecy is very important. You got these other Israelite camps. They don't really go into prophecy. And when they do, they break it down incorrectly. Whether they're doing it out of sincerity, they're just sincerely wrong, or whether they sold out. More so, they sold out, a lot of them. But at the end of the day, biblical prophecy is unfolding right before our very eyes. And it's a beautiful thing, right? We just had that blood moon. I believe it was Tuesday, I think March the 3rd. And ultimately, you see what's going on with Israel, the U.S., and Iran. And it's all biblical prophecy. And things are going to intensify and get more and more, worse. The MOTB is getting ready to be mandated, man. Okay, because ultimately, with you're seeing the gas prices and everything go up, and usually that happens during the time of war, but things are different, man. Because ultimately, what's going on with Iran, and what's going on with the Strait of Hormuz. Iran, they ultimately can, cut off the Strait of Hormuz, and that's going to send pretty much the world into turmoil, as far as, you have certain countries that depend on the Strait of Hormuz for, certain natural resources, especially oil. We already understand how the U.S. is when it comes to oil, but ultimately the U.S. is doing the bidding of Israel. Okay, as the scriptures say, the least of the flock shall draw them out. Let me see if I can grab that real quick. And like I said, very exciting times that we're in. Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh that he hath against Edom. Okay, the Lord hates you Edomites, man. You so-called white people. All right, now we understand that everybody that has the appearance of a so-called white person doesn't mean that they're an Edomite. Really, it's about the Edomites. But a key indicator of who the Edomites are is their lack of pigmentation. Ultimately, with their blood showing forth through their skin, going back to ultimately the curse of Cain, right? And when Esau was born, he came out what? Red. That's why Edom in the ancient Paleo-Hebrew means Adawam, which means red. Okay, or wasted away. Esau, wasted away is he, right? And the Lord hates you Edomites, man. He hates all of you heathen, but especially you Edomites, man. Okay, and the Lord is, and ultimately what's going on is the Lord is getting ready to physically take these devils out of power. All right, and the main ones that are benefiting from the blessings, right? When you go to Genesis, the 27th chapter, when it goes into the blessing that Isaac gave unto Esau, they're living that out right now. The fatness of the earth, the dew of heaven, using the sword, the sword being a part of his blessing, right? But ultimately, the Heavenly Father is getting ready to send Yahweh Shai back to take this devil down physically, and that's going to be the end of his blessing. Okay, and these devils are trying to prolong their blessing. They're trying to ultimately force or forge their birthright. They're trying to get their birthright back by way of force, deception, so on and so forth, and it's not going to work. Okay, so let me continue reading. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that he hath taken against Edom and his purposes, that he hath proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Right, Teman we believe to be the Germans. Okay, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Okay, now ultimately, the small hats, the tiny tops over there in the land of Israel, okay, they're the ones that are dragging Babylon into this third world war, and it's all biblical prophecy, right? You have it's that I was seeing an article about ultimately how they're saying that this third world war is ultimately going to be it's going to bring back the return of so-called Jesus, which we know his real name is Yahweh Shai, right? This war of Armageddon, and it's all biblical prophecy, because see these tiny tops, they ultimately believe that if they can get the whole world to hate them, that can bring Yahweh Shai back, which they so-called Jesus. They don't, because look, they don't know Yahweh Shai. Okay, they call him Hashem or whatever, right? But they're basically saying that so-called Jesus can come back and save them, but when Yahweh Shai returns, he's coming back to destroy them, man. Okay, so ultimately the Lord is lining them up for the ultimate takedown, so to speak, man. And guess what? Because these tiny tops, these devils, they believe in Satan. But guess what? The Lord has Satan in on it, man, because Satan works for the Most High. You can read about that in Job, the 1st chapter, right? And ultimately, Satan is a double agent for Yahweh Bashim Shai. He's helping in setting up these small hats and these Edomites, man. Okay, so it's a beautiful thing. Now we understand that they're going to bring the persecution and they're going to blame us, the true believers, right? Because it's all biblical prophecy. But guess what? We're that much closer to Yahweh Shai returning, man. We understand, what we have to go through and so on and so forth. All right. Some of us have to be martyrs and everything like that. But guess what? We're that much closer to the return of Yahweh Shai and being delivered. Lord willing, I'll be amongst the elect, man. Okay. So this is why brothers is in great spirits, man. Let me bring this out. Matthew 24:37, because look, the prophets are out here. The prophets have been out here bringing this word out, beginning with our elder apostles, bishops and teachers on down. This word has been going out, man. Okay, especially since 2007, when the apostles and the elders went up on YouTube, and this word has been going out heavily ever since. So, hey, we keep telling y'all that we're not going to be out here forever, man. That famine of hearing the word is fastly approaching. Okay, when you read Amos, as a matter of fact, let's grab that real quick. Amos, the 8 and 11. Behold, Amos 8 and 11. Behold, the day is come, saith the Lord power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. See, we're not going to be out here forever. This word is not going to be always easily accessible as it is right now. Okay, the Lord is going to continue to put the spirit on Esau, because Esau is back taking down brothers' channels. I know the head brother, the elder of our camp, Bishop Hakah, they just pretty much struck his channel, which ultimately that's the camp page as well. Okay, they gave him a strike, so they're back doing that, man. And ultimately, and that's going to continue to increase, right? Because ultimately, this is the doings of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, fulfilling prophecy, man. Okay, so beautiful times that we're in. So, hey, get this truth now while you can. Verse 12, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and shall not find it. So this truth is not going to always be easily accessible as it is right now, man. Okay, so we've been telling y'all that these things are going to happen. But guess what? The people are in the same spirit that they were during the time of Noah. We understand that Noah prophesied for a period of 120 years that the Lord was going to bring a great flood via the rain. And during that time, it never had rained up until that point, up until the point that it started raining. So the people, they thought Noah was crazy. Okay, and he was building the ark. They were scoffing and mocking, just like now. We're letting everyone know that the Lord is getting ready to bring wrath. He's going to hit Babylon, America, with 200 million nuclear warheads. Okay, and they're going to rain down and hit Babylon and destroy it. Now, that has never happened before, as far as nuclear missiles being launched on the soils of America. Hell, America has never been attacked by a foreign country. Because if you think about 9/11, that was an inside job. Everything that takes place are inside jobs. But see, the Lord is getting ready to put a particular spirit on these other nations in the spirit of war, ultimately to launch nuclear warheads upon America, man. And also the chariots going to shoot out lasers, concentrated energy, concentrated fire, lasers. And it's going to burn up America, Babylon the Great. And we bring these things out. And you have people that laugh at us and scoff at us, right? Just like how they did Noah. But that's all right, man. Okay, because the same spirit that they were in back then, they're in now. And ultimately, they're going to be destroyed. Okay? Matthew 24:37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage. Pretty much enjoying their vain lives, man. Okay, people still going to restaurants, out to eat, partying, being merry. All right, although the Lord is drying it up, they're still trying to force it now. Okay, but ultimately, that's what they were doing during the time of Noah, right? Rioting, having festivals and feasts and going to buying, trading, selling, whatever. Hey, look, the same thing goes on. It's just in different time periods, man. Okay, so it's no different. And ultimately, the Lord is lining their asses up, man. Okay, it says until the day that Noah entered into the ark. So guess what? That time is coming to where they're going to see the men of the Lord get beamed up and delivered on a so-called UFO, and the Lord's multitude at 1/3, certain women and children, wives of brothers and their children, so on and so forth. Friends of the prophets, whoever the Lord has set for salvation. And our enemies are going to see it, which I'll grab the scriptures, man. Okay. It says, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So guess what? That second death is going to be that flood of fire, the lake of fire. And 2/3 are going to partake in that, man. All right, let me read this in Revelation, the 11th chapter and the 12th verse. Let's see. And it says, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies behold them. That cloud being the fathership, man, so-called UFO. Okay, and all of our enemies are going to see it. Okay, I can read that in right here. Let me see how far I want to go down. Well, let's go to verse 1. Yeah. Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. And, ultimately you see the prophets calling out this devil for all the atrocities that he's done into the children of Israel. And ultimately boldness means what? Confidence, man. Okay, so we go out there in the faith, and confidence ultimately means faith. So we go out there in the faith and confidence that we have in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, and we call this devil out. Here it is while we're, behind enemy lines, and we're calling this devil out. and letting them know that he's getting ready to go head first into slavery, man. No matter the so-called consequences, if you want to call it that, that this devil is going to have against us, we don't care, man. We understand he's going to come with that great wrath, pursuant to Revelation 2:10, as the Lord tells us not to be afraid. Let's grab that real quick. Right? We understand, man. See, these are the times. See, people, they'll say certain things like, man, y'all been bringing the same things out, and y'all always bring out these same scriptures. Well, it's even more relevant now, but it's always been relevant, man. Okay, especially in the times we're in now. See, we've been telling y'all, man, all these years that y'all been calling us crazy and so on and so forth. Now, look, man, now these things are unfolding right before your very eyes, man. Revelation 2:10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil, Esau, the Edomite, beginning with these elite banking families, shall cast some of you into prison. You know, they got these concentration camps, these internment centers, you know, these torture camps. I saw this one article. Well, I overheard someone speaking about how you have these ICE agents that are going around and buying up these certain warehouses or whatever in these remote areas. They're going to use them for concentration camps, man. They're going to haul people off, take them out of their homes. For the ones that refuse the MOTB, they're going to, you know, or whatever type of policies these devils, these unrighteous decrees that they're bringing into play. They're going to, you know, haul the people off, man. Any type of ideology that you have that's against their ideology, they're going to deem you as a threat. Right, and haul you off to these torture camps, man. Okay, see, hey, when the Lord speaks about Jacob's trouble and says this is going to be a time like no other, this is a part of it, man. This is what it's talking about. And then they have their AI technology. They got their robots, their drones, super soldiers. They have all type of methods of torture, which ultimately is the Lord that's doing that, because Esau is the sword of the Lord on the left-hand side. That's why he gave Esau the sword, man, because Esau is the Lord's sword. Okay, so that's why Esau was blessed with the sword, and he's going to use it, because ultimately that's how the Lord is going to bring judgment upon you non-believers, man, and you scoffers, man, you 2/3, and you sellouts, and you guys that fell out of the truth. Okay, the Lord hasn't forgot, man. You know, these guys that may have fell out years ago or whatever the case may be, if they're still alive, which a lot of them are, because the Lord is going to use them, is going to bring judgment upon them, man. Okay, that's one thing about this truth, man. Hey, blood in and blood out. It ain't no turning back when you come into this truth, man. Okay, so for the ones that got weak or whatever and went back into the world, the Lord ain't forgot about that. You may have forgotten about the Lord, but guess what? The Lord ain't forgot about y'all asses, man. Okay. It says, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. 10 days just meaning a particular period of time that the Lord has set for your spirit. Okay, for you to endure as a trial of your faith, as a test. Okay, it could be literally 10 days, 20 days, 2 days, whatever the Lord has set. Okay, now it says, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Okay, so we understand what this devil is getting ready to bring, but guess what, man? We're going to remain faithful in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, even unto death, because we want those crowns of life, man. When you read 2nd Esdras, the 2nd chapter, around the 40th verse on down, it goes into the crowning ceremony of the elect, which, I mean, you know, every sincere Akim, every sincere brother out there wants to be a part of that, man, to have Yahushua himself place crowns upon our heads, man. You know, hey, look, that's going to be the greatest feeling in our existence, man. You know, and it's going to be, you know, more great experiences, because look, man, we have forever, man. We got eternity. Speaking about, you know, us Israelites, man, and that's why these nations, especially Esau, envies us, man. You know, America, this ain't the end all be all, man. See, we're looking past America. We're looking past Babylon, and for the 2/3 that don't want to look past it, that's why the Lord is going to put them down, man, because they ultimately just in the way. And they'll be in their right minds in the kingdom, right? They're going to have their heads down for a particular period of time, but they'll be all right. They'll be, you know, every Israelite is going to be made perfect, okay? But it's going to be levels to it, of course. All right. But ultimately, everything that's playing out, man, this is the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. The Lord is doing all of these things. That's the point that I'm trying to push home, man. You know, the Lord is doing exactly what he said he was going to do, man. So we're in beautiful times, right? So let's go back to Revelation, the 11th chapter. And I want to go back to Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter first. Now I'm going to read verse 1 once again. Then shall the righteous man, the elect, okay, the hopeful elect, stand in great boldness. You see the prophets on the highways and byways standing in great boldness, which the Lord said that was going to happen when you read Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, right? When you read, I'm in Revelation, the 11th chapter, but when you go up a verse to the 11th verse, it goes into how the Lord was going to bring us back. He's going to put that breath back into us. And ultimately, we're going to, stand upon our feet and prophesy on the highways and byways as you see. Okay. So the Lord is doing everything, the prophecies are unfolded. And these elites, they see that, man. When you read Isaiah, the 13th chapter, when it says, it shall go into the gates of the nobles. So they understand what's going on. That's why they're trying to do their certain rituals and sacrifices and so on and so forth, man. So ultimately, the same thing that was going on between Cain and Abel, right? You got the righteous offering up a sacrifice, and you got the wicked offering up their sacrifice, right? And who did the Lord accept? Abel, okay? Because Abel did a righteous sacrifice. He did it correctly, and Cain was rejected. And that's why Cain got upset. And what did he do? He slew Abel, ultimately trying to cut off that righteous line. And that's what Esau is trying to do today, okay? During the time of Herod, when he found out that Yahweh Shai was about to be born, or was born, he wanted to try to cut him off, man. Okay, when he found out about Yahweh Shai was getting ready to be born, ultimately delivered, he tried to cut him off. That's what these devils are trying to do now, trying to cut off the prophets, trying to stop the Lord from returning, man. Okay, so ultimately, you got these devils. They're all over the place, man. Okay, because they understand that Yahweh Shai got to return, but then you got, certain, articles coming out saying how they want so-called Jesus to return to save them, which ain't nobody coming to save you damn devils, man. See Esau, he thought that he was going to be able to just run off with the blessing and keep us cut off from learning who we are and keep the prophets cut off. And everything this devil is trying to do is backfiring on him, man. And it's going to just continue to backfire until these devils are in chains, man. Okay, so hey, call Lord Yahweh Shema Shai that we have this truth, and as I said, we're in beautiful times, man. Verse 2, and Salakia, if I'm all over the place, man, just in the spirit. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 2 being the point when they see it, speaking about our enemies, because I read about our enemies are going to see us, right? Revelation 11 and 12. I'll read that once again. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, a chariot, going into the fathership, and their enemies beheld them. All right. So this is ultimately going deeper into our enemies beholding us being beamed up. When they see it, speaking about our enemies, the heathen. And guess what? The 2/3, they're going to see it too, because they are enemies right now on this side, right? Because they're in a heathenistic state of mind. Okay. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, and it says so far beyond all that they look for, because, these regular Christians and these regular peon people, they're not looking to see the Lord deliver us in the fashion that he's about to deliver us in, man. All right. You have some people talk about this, the rapture, which that's not in the scriptures. They say people literally just going to be floating on a cloud. They're damn sure not expecting our Lord to have the appearance that he's going to have, a so-called black man, right? A melanated power, okay, with his angelic body of perfection, coming with great anger. Okay, they're not expecting that with a host of angels during this Third World's War, right? When you read about it in 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, it goes into that, man, how he's going to invade. He's going to pull up on all of these nations that are going to be at war during World War III at its peak. Yahweh Shai is going to return. He's going to pull up on them, man. He's going to appear. and he's going to burn them up. He's going to destroy them. Like I said, when you read about that in 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter, man. Okay, so these people, they're not expecting to see us be delivered in the fashion that we're going to be delivered in, man. Okay, when those nuclear warheads are raining down, the elect is going to be getting beamed up. Like it says in 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, right? Let's go there real quick. Let me grab that real quick. 1 Corinthians 15 and 52. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. It says in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, is ultimately going to be simultaneous. When those nuclear warheads are raining down, the elect is going to be getting beamed up. That's why it's another precept going into the righteous shall scarcely be saved. Let me see if I can you got to spell it correctly. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it, because it goes into how the righteous shall scarcely be saved, man. Because there's going to be ultimately it's going to come down to the elect. We're not going to know if we are the elect until that moment that we're getting beamed up, man. All right, let me see if I can find it. Bear with me. Let's see here. Let me try this, because that's going to take a while. Let me try this. Let's try this here. Right. 1 Peter 4 and 18. Let me see if I want to start. Yeah, let's get to the point. 1 Peter 4 and 18. And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? And the ungodly and the sinner, they're going to appear in that lake of fire, because they're going to be getting burned up by those nuclear warheads, while the elect is going to be getting beamed up, man. And as I was saying, ultimately, man, we're not going to know if we are the elect until that moment, So the elect is going to be afraid, man, and calling upon Yahweh Shem Shai, praying, ultimately just having the faith, man, and pray that we get beamed up, 1 Corinthians 15 and 52, once again, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible. So instantaneously, that's when the elect is going to get those new bodies. That's why it says in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, faster than you can blink, because we can't take these fleshly bodies on the fathership, man. Okay, as the scriptures say, flesh and blood shall not inherit the kingdom. Okay, and right here, 1 Corinthians 15 and 50. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of the Most High. So these fleshly bodies that are subject unto sin, we're not going to take these on the fathership, man. Okay, because they're too defiled. Okay, so the Lord has to give us that body of perfection, which simultaneously that's going to be the new covenant. Because what's the new covenant? What's the second covenant? When the Lord is going to pretty much program our spirits to be 100% righteous, and being able to keep the laws perfectly, and the Lord won't have a reason to put us to death. You see, and I'll keep reading just to prove that point. We're going to get the victory over death. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. Right. So ultimately, we're going to get an upgrade, man. bodies that's going to match our righteous spirits, man. Because here it is, we have this truth, and we try to the best of our abilities to be perfect in righteousness, even though we understand that we can't, because we're in this weak flesh. Okay, but guess what? When the Lord upgrades, our bodies, we're going to be able to perfectly keep the law, statutes, and commandments, because we're going to have the body to match the body. We're going to have a body that's going to be able to do so. Okay, bodies that are not going to be subject unto sin. Okay, and really the only reason why the Lord puts us to death is because we transgress. Okay, because we sin being the transgressions of the Lord's law, statutes, and commandments, man. All right. So when this corruptible must put on, so when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. See, we're going to get the victory over death. Okay. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. So really, sin is our kryptonite, man. Okay. But when the Lord takes that away from us, ain't going to be no stopping us, man. You see? But thanks be to Yahweh, which giveth us the victory through our Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach. See? Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord, man. So we got great things coming. All right. Going back to Revelation 11 and verse 12, I read that our enemies are going to see us. And guess what? When they're seeing us getting beamed up, those nuclear warheads, they're still going to be raining down, and they're going to hit their target. And guess what? That target is going to be America, Babylon the Great. So that's why it says, in the same hour was there a great earthquake. That great earthquake is going to come from those nuclear warheads, 200 million, that's going to rain down upon Babylon, and it's going to, cause the earth to go into a great earthquake, man. Okay, which is going to cause tsunamis and all type of disaster. All right. And the 10th part of the city fell. That's speaking about America, Babylon the Great. You can go and look it up. America is actually sectioned off into 10 FEMA regions, if I'm not mistaken, man. Y'all can go and look it up. All right. So the Lord has, certain codes and key words that are pretty much linking the scriptures to the prophecies, man. Okay. Certain code words that he puts on the minds of these devils to come up with is ultimately, signs, man, and hidden cryptic messages for the elect to be able to decipher. It says, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted. See, the elect is going to be afraid, even, because the elect is not going to know that they're the elect until they get beamed up. It says, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the Most High of heaven. So we're going to be on the Father's ship, and we're going to be able to see the destruction of Babylon, of America. Okay, the land of our captivity, and we're going to give praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. So, hey, and check this out. The second war is past, World War II, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly, World War III, and it's happening fast, man. So, hey, Lord willing, this is it, man. We're right here, man. So, just stay prayed up, and hey, to the best of your abilities, man, get right with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and hey, just keep the faith, man, and enduring to the end. Like it says in Matthew 24th chapter, you see. So it says the third woe cometh quickly, you see. So, hey, man, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Makakwadash, double honors to my elder apostles, elder bishops, and to my elder teachers of Great Millstone who rule well, which taught me this truth. Peace, love, blessings, and salutations into the elect. Shalom.